There is an alligator in the cargo bay. I successfully crushed it with a chair.
Where did it come from?
I do not know. Regardless, it is crushed.
Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. My name is Mike Ian. For today's video, let's talk about the Orville. When you hear the name Seth MacFarlane, you're probably going to think of Family Guy. Family Guy, of course, being one of the most popular shows of all time, you could say.
Just shut up and throw a chair. Okay.
And that's not to say, I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm just saying it's one of the most popular ones. I personally do like it. He voices Stewie on that show, Brian, Peter, Quagmire, Seamus. I'm pretty sure he voices Dr. Hartman and Carter Pewishman, which kind of have the same voice. And apart from that, he also has American Dad, where he voices Stan, he voices Roger.
Steve, here he comes. Take that, sir. Behold, a grown man weeping like...
That? That was your plan? Are you crying?
Yes, I'm crying. He hit me with a chair.
So of course he is very talented in the animation world in terms of voice acting, but then you also take his live action things. You got the most well-known one, which is Ted and Ted 2, and also more recently the Ted series on Peacock, which I'm a huge fan of. Well, let's stop right there. I'm actually a huge fan of practically everything this guy has done. I'm a huge fan of Seth MacFarlane, so.
And what if new DNA evidence is uncovered after...
What the fuck?
Oh yeah, he also voiced the mouse from Sing. But yeah, back to the live action, Ted, Ted 2, the Ted series.
I can never get a signal in your apartment. Hey, can I use your laptop?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. What the fuck?
But then you also got A Million Ways to Die in the Wild West, which can be a whole nother video because I thought it was really funny.
I had a cold a couple years ago. I went in there. You know what he said to me? He goes, "Oh, you need an ear nail." A nail in my fucking ear. That is modern medicine for you. Yeah, doc, I have a fever of 102. Oh, you need a donkey kicking.
But the one I'm here to talk about today is the Orville. The Orville's probably his most serious work. It still has a lot of comedy, but it is the one that's probably the most serious among all of his projects. The Orville centers around a ship by that same name, the Orville, the captain being Ed Mercer, who is played by Seth MacFarlane himself. Now, I think I should give you some spoiler warnings here because I'm going to tell you more about the characters and eventually I'm going to tell you about some plots and stories and all that, so, you know, spoiler warnings if you haven't watched the show already. First, you got Ed Mercer. This is the first ship that he's commanding, and the Orville is in part helping him rebuild his life after his messy divorce, which was actually with Kelly Grayson, his commanding officer. So like I said, Kelly Grayson is Ed's ex-wife. She actually cheated on him, unfortunately. Kelly Grayson might be more known as more organized and more diplomatic almost, but of course she's still a loving person at heart. There's other characters here you might recognize, like Bortus. You probably recognize him from this clip.
500 cigarettes.
Claire Finn, the single mother of 2 young boys and the chief medical officer. Alara, I don't want to tell you too much about her. She's the security officer. She's also really strong, like superhuman-like strength.
Home right now because I told him. Oh God, I'm afraid. Wait!
But she does leave the show in, I believe she leaves in season 2 or maybe even season 1. I forgot exactly where it was, but she does leave the show and she's replaced by someone else who is actually of her same race. Other important characters include Gordon Malloy. He's like the driver.
Isaac!
What the hell?
What happened to your leg? He amputated it while I was sleeping.
Ha ha. Got you.
What?
I have retaliated. That is my practical joke.
This isn't a joke, you psychopath! You dismembered me!
And John Lamar, who is widely considered one of the smartest characters in the show. And last but not least, the smartest person in the show, Isaac. Isaac is like an artificial life form. You could consider him a robot, I guess, but he's insanely smart. He will constantly remind you that he's an artificial life form, which is why he doesn't have feelings and whatnot. He'll always be telling you that, but it does make for a lot of funny scenes.
This town will not accommodate the numerical totality of our combined mass.
In Family Guy, you might see like Peter like cheat on Lois or something like that, or Lois cheat on Peter, or Brian like goes in a car accident. There's so many things that happen in Family Guy.
Yo, dude, you know they killed the dog on Family Guy.
The dog, Brian?
Yeah, Brian.
Man, stop playing for real.
I'm playing, man.
Brian's dead?
Yeah.
But by the next episode, usually it's already passed over. In the Orville, there is a chronological story. It does follow a narrative, and it does have plots that affect the continuing episodes, like most shows do. Many of these episodes, while this is a fantasy show, do center around like things that you might see in real life. It takes like philosophical standpoints from real life, it takes social justice issues from real life, and it blends it into the stories of their own. The main conflict in this show stems from the Union, which is where Ed Mercer and all the crew is from, versus the Krill. Now, eventually, this actually becomes the Union versus the Kalon, which is the universe, or not the universe, the species of Isaac. But you know, you should watch that show to learn more about that. Now, this show does have less comedy than Seth's like previous works, but it trades it in for having more narrative and more story. But it's still also super funny. Like, there's still some hilarious moments in the show. It still has a lot of comedy.
Aside from shooting your dad, we don't mean your family any harm.
One thing I really like is the worlds that they visit and like the different ramifications of these worlds. In this show, there's a really intriguing world where you can get upvoted or downvoted based on your actions. For example, you hold a door open for someone, they might give you an upvote. You spill your coffee on someone, they might give you a downvote. Now, of course, the worse things you do, the more downvotes you're going to get from the public. Eventually, there's ramifications if you get a lot of downvotes. I believe in some instances, it's like probably harder to get a loan, to the point where if it gets like bigger, you have to do apologies, and if it gets to a certain threshold, I believe they do the equivalent of what is a lobotomy. Sorry if you see me sweating so much, the AC is too loud and I can't have it on for the video. And there can be some pretty emotional episodes. There's this one that I'm going to use as an example where Gordon, I believe he gets stranded on Earth in like our current time, in 2000, you know, something. I think he got lost in 2025, whatever. And while he was stranded, the crew was looking for him, but Gordon never thought anyone would come. Eventually he lost hope and he built his own life. He had a kid, he had a wife, he was loving his life, he had a career, he had a house, he had built a stable life on Earth in present day. I forgot to mention that the Orville like takes place in the future, so he was coming from like the year 3000 something to 2025, whatever. If I remember correctly, the Orville has to take him away because there's ramifications if he stays in that timeline. He has to try to fight to keep his family, but in the end, they have to take him away, which thus erases his kid and his wife. And I'm sure you could find a lot of emotion in that episode where it's a man who's built a life that he loves and he has to be stripped away from it. It's really cool to see the different alien species in this like show too. You can find someone like Moffat, who was voiced by Norm Macdonald, may he rest in peace. Moffat is like, I think he's like the engineer, he kind of goes around fixing things, he can crawl into tight spaces because of his body composition. He kind of looks like a booger.
Put me down, lady. Watch the sign. Oof. Ow! That was the corner. Ow!
Couldn't have won that fight without you. Oh, except we did.
They got old and ran away.
Still counts.
But they use that to his advantage. He can do so many cool things with his body composition. Overall, I think you definitely should go watch this show. I know it was like inspired by Star Trek, I believe. I haven't watched any of Star Trek. I just know Billy Butcher's in one of them.
Move on. She would have wanted you to.
Oi! Stevie fucking Wonder! Will you knock it off?
But I haven't watched any form of Star Trek really, so I don't really know too much about it. So if I offended any Star Trek fans, I apologize. Yeah, that's gonna end the video here. Oh, I forgot to mention. I wrote a movie for the DCU, and it's called Vulcan. Yeah, I'd love to pitch it someday. I'm not going to talk about it too much because that's going to be my next video, actually. I'm going to talk about the fact that I wrote Vulcan. You should expect it like a week or two after Supergirl releases, which I'm also going to see in theaters. I also want to mention in this video, I'm a huge fan of Seth MacFarlane. I've watched like practically all of his projects. As an actor in LA, I'd love to work with him. That'd be amazing because I'm like I said, I'm such a huge fan of him, but you know, I digress. If you have anything you want to say about the Orville, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, have a great day, work hard, be mighty.